personal out here, Dave. Nothing personal.
All right, we're back with another episode of Carson versus Carson. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Got a special guest with us, former Super Bowl champ David Gamble here with us. Appreciate you being
That's
here.
right. That's right. The NFL emblem. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Glad to be on.
All right, we can get right into it and just tell us how it all started, your journey into the NFL. A lot of people are on the same journey now, or some people are there currently turned in. So I just want to know how your story went.
Yeah. You know, I always say this, everybody has a unique story, right? Everybody's path is different. But for mine, I always say it's really unique. And it all started with me, you know, I'm from Albany, New York. And I'm the youngest of three boys. And being in New York, football is not the number one sport.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, I played multiple sports. I was in track. I was in basketball, which kind of my family was, you know, we were known for basketball. We played, you know, all my brothers played basketball. And football was, it was kind of a side thought, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, I got drafted in high school out of for baseball. That was going to be like my path.
I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, when you're the 27th round and your signing bonus was $4,200, my mom was like, we ain't doing the baseball thing, right? Football was just another sport. During the fall, I played football.
Okay.
And I ended up playing in my high school. We were like one of the best, probably in the history of New York sports. Our football team, my senior class, we end up having 4 guys go Division I, 2 guys played in the league, right? So I was part of a special unit.
Okay,
and,
who was on? Wait, who was on the team? You gotta just say, you can't just say.
Yeah, so we had these 2 brothers. They were Chucky and Chad Dukes. Chucky Dukes at the time was he was a running back. They were both running backs. One was a fullback, the other one was a tailback. But Chucky Dukes was he got the Heisman Trophy of high school football at the time in 1989. Right?
All right.
He ended up playing at Boston College. His brother Chad Dukes ended up playing at University of Pittsburgh. My quarterback ended up going to University of Connecticut.
Okay.
Right. So, at that time we had a lot of recruitment, right? We had a lot of excitement. And that's when I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this football thing, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't get any scholarships until I going into my senior year, the summer, going into my senior year, we had to go to camp.
Right.
And that's when I got noticed. I went to this receivers quarterback camp and I got MVP. And after that camp exposure, I ended up getting all these offers, right? From Boston College to Syracuse to Penn State, Rutgers, right? My name was starting to, really flourish. And then we end up having my senior year, our football season, we end up going to the championship with all those other, my teammates. And that's kind of how it all happened within a 5-month rating, right?
Oh, man.
So I ended up choosing the University of New Hampshire because my coach at the time was Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
And Chip.
OH.
Yeah. OH. Yeah.
That's right.
So Chip came to my house and was like, talking to me and my mom and my brothers, was like, listen, he could play anywhere, but he could start at UNH.
There you go. Right.
And if he's good enough, I'll get him in the league.
Look at that.
That's what it was. Like, so ultimately, I selected UNH over, some bigger name schools.
Right.
And, that's kind of where it all began. That's where it started. And I was fortunate to go to University of New Hampshire. I played as a freshman.
Yeah.
And, I would say my claim to fame at the time, by the time I graduated, I had all the Division I AA records.
Yeah.
Okay. And Randy Moss ended up afterwards breaking my records. So that was kind of like,
Randy Moss.
Yeah.
So
I see you. Wait. I see you all the time on this list. So, I mean, it's been some years. So you're still 4 for receiving yards right now.
Yeah. Little something.
Yeah. So
that's top 5. That counts.
Yeah. Number 7 for receptions. He's at 7.
Okay.
So many years is that, man? Man. That's
Man,
pretty
since
good.
89. Well, I graduated in 93. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So
Older than me.
kudos to you. You know, I was wondering why you didn't do the Penn State thing, but I understand. I get it. You got Chip in there.
Well, you know what? This is funny, and I know we'll
Because you got to
probably
remember,
talk about
because
this.
didn't they just win? They won that year, right? Like in 85, 86?
They did. But back then, unless you were a blue chipper,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and you go to those big schools, you didn't play till your junior or senior year.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? The freshmen didn't come in and play. It just didn't happen. Not at the big schools, not at the Penn States, the Boston Colleges, the Syracuses. And I'm going to tell you, my mentality, I couldn't sit 2 to 3 years. Like
he wanted to play.
It wouldn't have worked for me mentally. I would have, something would have happened, and I wouldn't have stayed there. So
there you go.
The selling point was I get to, at least compete as a freshman, and and I need to get on the field.
There you go. You did your thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So after that, Dave, your transition, you did everything. You're all American, all everything, Mr. New Hampshire. So when did the transition, to the next level?
Yeah.
I know we only have a certain many segment here. So I need to figure out this whole thing with the Broncos, because that team actually, because we're Minnesota Viking fans here. Like, we were all together in terms of win losses until that year that you played, right?
Yeah.
Everyone had lost the Super Bowl. Broncos were 0-3. We were 0-4. And then you guys came up and put one ahead of us.
And you're still 0-4. Just a little note. You're still 0-4.
That's true.
Yeah.
One more thing before we go. So what was your team growing up in the area? So I know you weren't a Bronco fan because you're in that Northeast.
No. I was a Dallas Cowboy.
Okay. So you weren't a Giants or Jets. Okay.
No.
Okay.
And ironically, every other sport, I'm a diehard New Yorker, right? So I'm a New York Yankee, I'm a New York Rangers, and I'm a 2026 New York Knickerbocker.
I give it up to you. You earned it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
But for me, and this was a pivotal moment in my life where it got serious, right? It got like, again, going to New Hampshire, I didn't really think, I always had a dream, right? And I tell people this, I had a dream to play in the NFL.
Right.
It became a goal my junior year.
Okay.
And what sparked that was going into my junior year, we had a linebacker who ended up getting drafted second round.
Who was that?
In the NFL? Dwayne Saab. He ended up going to the New England Patriots.
Okay.
And at that time he was, second round. He fell to the second round, but he was really a first round draft, talent. And when I saw all the scouts come, right, we had pro day there, and man, I saw the scout, and we had to work out, and I was like, I can do this. Like, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause he only started playing starting his junior year, and then, his senior year. And I'm sitting there, I'm still starting as a freshman and a sophomore. And I'm like, yo, if he can get it.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm going to do it, right? So I really, going into my junior year, I had now a goal of playing in the NFL. And that's when it became real serious. That's when workouts, that's when, you start committing yourself during the summers, and you don't go home for spring break, things of that nature. And I end up having the season I wanted to have my senior year. I played really well, and I really thought I was going to get drafted. I had going to the combines.
Right.
I had the most reps at 225. I had 17 reps.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Back then, for a receiver. And, so I already had a niche of, how I can make it in the NFL as a big receiver. And, unfortunately I did not get drafted. I had the draft party at the house, and, man, with one of that, man, I bought every hat,
Oh, no.
Man.
I didn't even know this happened.
I had all the hats at the house, the people at the house. And,
so even in the 80s, the 90s, they were cruel back then. They've been cruel for the whole time. Okay.
Oh man, it's brutal, man. It's heartbreak. It's like losing your first girl, man. It's like losing your
So, but
first
wait a
girl.
minute though, Dave, because you had how many rounds was it? Because that's even worse. It was like 7 rounds. Wait, no, was it? Was it? Wait,
no. My year in '93, it went from 14 rounds or 12 rounds to 7 to what it is today.
Okay, so it did go to 7. Okay. I remember it was that. So you just missed it. You would have been picked up.
Yeah. So, and I got the real tease. So starting the 5th round, I started getting calls.
Oh, no.
Man.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The 5th round, my agent was like, listen, I'm on the phone with the Cardinals, and, if you're there in the next round, they're going to pick you. We get that from three different organizations. If you're there in the next round, we're going to get you. If you're there in the next round. And so now, in the last, couple hours, I got these 3.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't have cell phones.
That's right.
That's right. House phone, and people would be calling the house.
Check it in. And you're like, hey, stop. No, run out. Not right now.
Have the phone. Have the phone. So,
dang.
Yeah, man, it was different back then. Unfortunately, it didn't get drafted, but I did hit all those three organizations, and then including Philadelphia Eagles. Called me meeting, and so this now becomes a free agent. Now I'm a free agent. Now I have to choose what organization, and I chose the Philadelphia Eagles. Because at the time they didn't draft any receivers that year.
Yeah.
They only drafted one receiver last year, and I felt like that was going to be my best opportunity to make a team.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's the way the journey began.
Oh man, that's awesome. That is great. Okay, so real quick, how do we get to Denver? Real quick?
Real quick, I played that 1 year with Philly. I injured myself. I tore my knee. I go rehab in San Antonio. Nobody picks me up going into the 1994 season. So then I go to the Canadian Football League.
Okay. I didn't even know all that.
I go to the Canadian Football League. I played 2 years Canadian. Now it's 1996. And that's when the infusion of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers.
Oh man. So, okay. All right. I'm trying to think. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah. That's when.
Wow.
That's when they first got established in 1996, 95, 96. So they allowed all the Canadian football players to break their contracts to try out for those 2 teams. I end up going to Jacksonville.
Okay.
I get an offer to go to Jacksonville. Matter of fact, I try out. They want to sign me. Then my agent was like, "Hey, now we got another team. We got the Denver Broncos. You want to go check them out?" I was like, "Yeah." Why not?
Yeah.
I go to. This is a great story. I go to Denver the day I try out. Bubby Brister. I know little Carson, you won't remember that, but I know Mark, you will remember. Bubby Brister.
Yeah.
He was the backup with me at Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
When I was on the scout team, in Philly, he was behind Randall Cunningham. So me and him knew each other.
Exactly.
And he knew all my body. We knew our routes.
Right.
And he would call players from Philadelphia, and we went perfect. I think let's go 20 for 20 on routes against everybody against 1-on-1s. We both signed and made the team.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy right there. Because you helped him. To be honest, because he was not that good.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I don't want to say anything bad to him, but he wasn't that. I didn't see a whole lot of little highlights, but I didn't know how he made the squad other than. A crowd favor in Denver, maybe. I don't know.
Exactly.
Wow, that's crazy. So then the next year, you guys go ahead
and win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Wow. That's an awesome journey. I didn't even know.
It's a good story.
Went there. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So so that whole thing, because Drayton, I don't know if Kalen remembers, cousin Drayton, he's at Tuskegee. He got drafted by the San Diego. But he's kind of a journey. He was at Jacksonville. He was at Buffalo. He did the whole thing. Where else was he? He was at actually, Denver for he signed with Denver.
Denver for
and never played. So he made a lot of money. The journey is similar, the same, but he did get a call. He was the highest ranked HBCU player to come out. But your story, I mean, I think it's even better, to be honest.
It was a grind. And I'm going to tell you this. If you look at every current roster today, and then here's some things people don't understand. Most of everybody's grind, excluding, from a 4th round pick, right? So a 4th round pick, that's only 4 picks.
Right.
It's only 4 members of a team.
Yeah.
Right. The rest of everybody else is either 5, 6, or 7. That's if a team has 7 draft picks that year.
Right.
The rest of them are free agents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this grind, this grind is unreal. There's more people, living what I call living their dream to a goal.
Right.
And every day and, just having that opportunity, man, there's more people who have my journey than the 1st round draft picks that you see and read about.
Right.
Man. Yeah. You're right about that. You were absolutely right. All right. So real quick, I know we're talking about, so there was the Super Bowl day when you won the Super Bowl. Tell me a little bit what was going down. How was that whole thing going?
And Mark and Caleb, man, it was surreal, man. It was surreal because, to your point, we already had the monkey on our back around Super Bowls, not winning. Then you had to throw in the biggest factor is this John's last year? So that was pending,
right.
Was he going to retire? Then we had to win it. Right. So that season, we weren't projected to win. We actually had an 8-8 season. We were a wild card. We were the first wild card.
I didn't know
to win a Super Bowl that had played every game on the road.
Cool.
Right.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So we had a run.
Kudos.
Yeah. We had a run. We had to run like my Knicks did. You know what I'm saying? We had to run.
Well, since you could put the Knicks in it, I'm mad now. I was so what? The Vikings should have got in there with Randy Moss and everybody. We had our run.
Yeah.
Till the kicker was hurt or what? Hurt. He was sick,
right. Oh yeah. That's right. When he missed that kick. So, that whole season, it was, the roster was built around a lot of veterans. Right, we brought in a lot of veterans. And it was kind of like one last run. And then now you had the infusion of Terrell Davis.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
so this is his second year.
This was his coming out party because he was killing.
Yeah, his coming out party.
Right.
And, so now we changed our whole offensive scheme from John throwing the ball around the field to now having this established running game. So now we go into the playoffs. Like I said, every game we won was on the road. We won in Kansas City. We won in Pittsburgh. And we won in KC, Pittsburgh, AFC Championship, Cincinnati, right? So now we get to the Super Bowl. Now it's there. Yeah. And since San Diego.
Yeah.
And that was the last year they brought teams 2 weeks in advance.
Oh. Okay.
So now you only get there a week in advance.
Right.
But we were there for 2 weeks.
Prepping, getting ready, West Coast.
Prepping, right? And our families came a week later.
Okay.
Right. So it was business as usual.
Yeah, no
distraction. Then the family came, now we're in the second week. We're doing, it was a circus. It's a circus, right?
Yeah.
But it was, to the point where they made it a family friendly environment. I can remember they had events for your families.
Okay.
You're optional. I'll give you an example. That's when BB and CC Winan was, big on the gospel gospel list, and they would have little concerts for your family to go, things of that nature, man. So it was an overall experience that I would tell my brother, my brothers and my mom, my dad, they would tell you they probably had more fun there than I did.
Well, of course, absolutely they did, because you're playing.
You're
a little nervous. You're a little nervous.
Locked in.
I suspect. Man, that's something else.
But the preparation, Mark, and then make it personal. So that year, I was on and off the active roster.
Okay.
So the way they made it for me, it was like every week I was competing, every single week,
right,
just to see if I was going to make the active roster.
Right. But so you're on. So your home games, you're there, right? Because you were on, depending if
You
you were.
you go to every home and away game. You
So
know.
even the away games, you're. Oh, okay. I didn't
Oh yeah,
realize.
you're on every game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not cheap on that point. But I
Okay.
mean, you see it. You see it
Yeah.
at even today. Like somebody made the 53-man roster. Somebody came up this week. Somebody hits a late injury in practice, and they're on the injury reserve list. They only declare that on a Friday or Saturday.
Right.
And that's when the guys on practice roster will get elevated to the active roster. So that is my deal the entire year.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we had our kicker, Jason Allen. You remember he pulled his hamstring at the end of the season.
Dang.
And that's the worst thing, right? Because nobody carries two kickers.
I don't even think Kalen even knows who Jason Allen is. He's a really significant kicker back in the day. Yeah, he was pretty big deal.
And nobody carries two punters or two kickers. So if one of those two get injured, that means they got to bring in somebody. Right. And somebody actually gets eliminated from the team.
Because you got an extra spot.
Yeah. So it's
okay. Well, so doing that, going back and forth. So during the season, were you even like, all right, my goal is to get to the Super Bowl and win it, or what was your end game? Because now you're focused, but what is your end game like? You want to be prominent? However, it's a business. Whatever it is.
You say my goal, or you say my team goal, or my personal goal?
What was your personal goal? Because what was getting you through this every day, every week? You know what I'm saying? You're still up in the air. You don't know if you're winning the Super Bowl yet, or not winning, but advancing to the Super Bowl. So how are you? What are you thinking? How are you getting by with all this mad craziness?
My mindset, and this will be a great. I think we're going to be talking about this, a little bit later. But my mindset was, I got to be ready. My mindset is, I'm practicing and I'm playing like I'm going to start.
Okay.
Because I was behind Ed McCaffrey.
Right.
And my whole thing was, if he goes down, that's me. So I'm literally mentally preparing myself and practicing and preparing that I'm going to be on that field. And then as we were winning, the stakes just got higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it becomes, man, shoot, I ain't gonna drop that third down,
there you go.
in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm preparing, and or not only preparing myself as a receiver, but I knew my niche was special.
Right. Okay, there you go. You know how to get on that field and make it a point to make yourself.
So to me now, it's like, how can I impact and be of value to the team? So now it's like, I'm on kickoff. I'm knocking somebody out.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was. I want to knock somebody out. And you'll always see in the Super Bowl, when people make tackles, but, first thing they want to do is, give me some space.
That's right. That's
So that's really what it was. It was like, I wanted to not only add value to the team, but I certainly wanted to show people who don't on
there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, you are an NFL player, so you're in the league. So kudos to you. So that has nothing. You actually made it to the stage. You didn't beat the 3.5% of the whole. You had one solid year. You were in the league for 3.5, but you won the Super Bowl. You're on the Super Bowl team. So I take that over 3.5 anytime.
Yes, sir. I would too.
Yeah, for sure.
Kudos to you on that one.
And Mark, and Caleb, what's funny? Because remember I told you it changed from a dream to a goal. The goal, honestly, was to play one play in the NFL. That was my goal. I felt literally that was my goal.
Yeah. Was
if I could just play a game in the NFL, I achieved my personal goal. So everything else was gravy.
Yeah.
Playing the years I did it and playing in the Canadian Football League and experiencing that was all gravy. I ended up extending from my college years, 6 years of professional football.
Okay.
And, so for me, I achieved that goal.
Yeah. And a time where it was, I mean, believe it or not, playing in the Canadian League, they only have a couple U.S. people on the roster. So not everyone gets the opportunity to play in Canadian and then to extend to like, God, I'd move you over. Or we're going to put him over here for a little bit and then we're going to figure this out as we get back into the NFL.
Yeah.
But there was nobody playing the Canadian League back in, not because we didn't want to. It was they were limited on their staff or their rosters.
Yeah.
Still like that.
Matter of fact, there was
like
only
that.
two big names. We had Doug Flutie and Rocket Ishmael. Those are the two big names. And other than that, to your point, there wasn't a lot of Americans. They didn't have a lot of Americans on these teams.
Yeah. Oh man, that's great. Okay, Caitlin, do we want to just kind of jump into the segment a little bit? His top before we get to the end. So
you're talking about just what's trending. You talking about what's trending right now, just NFL wise?
Yeah. Yep. Let's get his opinions. So we can get someone for fantasy football. Because we're almost at 30 minutes.
Okay.
I know he's a professional. We gotta make sure we appreciate it though.
Yeah, we could just talk about what's going on in NFL right now. Is we can actually just go into the hot takes as well. So I'm just curious, a Broncos fan, I'm assuming, is that your team right now? Okay, riding with the Broncos. Okay, you like Bo Nix?
Yeah, and I still love my Cowboys now. I'm still, so I have the best of both worlds, Caleb. I got an NFC team and an AFC team. So
all right.
I'll take that.
Okay. And then college football wise, you guys rooting for over there?
Go Irish.
What did it change all of a sudden before the Irish? Before all that, who were you going for before all this Irish stuff came?
Irish. That's all I know. That's all I know right now.
That's all I know.
Honestly, it was Ohio State. Ohio State was. It was funny because I never really had a team. And I would just be loyal to the coaches and players that that were on these schools. So for those that don't know, Ryan Day and Chip Kelly at Ohio State, all about those Buckeyes.
That's right.
Now I got to change my loyalty with the Irish right now.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Though. He's a Buckeye. He's a Buckeye too, though. So
yeah,
he is.
Yeah. So he's just the Buckeye. He's in the family, so it doesn't matter. We're all in the family. And then when Ryan Day leaves, he'll probably be here in Columbus. So we'll see.
There you go.
In the Olentangy River.
Oh, man. You got a favorite for the NFL this year, Super Bowl wise, besides the Broncos?
No, honestly, I really think the Broncos is their year. They were, if you think about it, their playoff run last year, they were one play away. The way that, Bo Nix broke his ankle on, sliding and bounced ball.
Yeah.
I really think that next game they would go in with the weather conditions and they would have at least represented the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And if you really look at the history, it's usually those teams that, don't make it. They had that one glitch or that one bad game or they fall short. And I think the Broncos did a great job rebuilding, got some additions with Waddle and established that the same defensive schemes. Most importantly, they didn't lose any defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. I think the continuity, the talent, I really think Broncos are going to have a great run this year.
Okay. Who do you think they're going to play up against the NFC? Who do you think they'll be?
NFC, you know what? You can't deny, I think the Rams are positioning themselves to be formidable. It's going to be back. The Super Bowl is going to be back in LA.
Okay.
They were the first and only team to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium, and it might be in the works again.
So you don't think he's mad about the whole picking up an additional quarterback? You don't think that has nothing with the psyche? Doesn't do anything with that?
Who? Stratford? No. Matter of fact, I think especially when he had made some hints and indications that it might be 1 or 2 more years left, right? I mean, they were wondering if he was going to come back. And I think, from the business perspective, he respects that. And the LA Rams, I think they just have a plan. I mean, let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They haven't had a replacement since Ben Roethlisberger, right? So,
it's been a long time.
I think in today's age, teams are preparing for, you have an established quarterback, that would be a franchise quarterback that's getting ready to retire. You got to be able to plan and maybe insult some families, but it's the best business.
No, I understand. No Vikings, change with the quarterback. You don't see the Vikings anywhere close to that. You don't see that. All right.
I think they're in a conundrum. You got Kyler Murray. You got Kyler Murray. I feel like if he does what he's supposed to do, he'll win the starting job.
Yeah. Oh, he's already won the starting job. He's already done that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's
So now what does that leave for JJ? Who knows?
There you go. Yeah,
But I do think it will at least bring their offense back, because they have some great weapons. In my opinion, they have the number one receiver in the league.
That's right. Yeah. I was going to say, who do you thought was number one? There you go. All right.
That was my question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was our next question coming up. Okay.
He's number one, in my opinion.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the next one. So, all right, good. That's good. We don't have to answer that anymore. So real quick, the notes on here. So Debo, he signed for 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
So
Debo signed with the 49ers. Yep.
So I'm good with that. I mean,
Yeah,
the
fact is, I think you saw in Washington that they didn't really know how to use him, right?
Yeah.
The things that he was able to create, the differentiator in 49ers, I think they're a team that could just use his talents, whether it's in the backfield, whether it's, a slot, whether it's a receiver. And, he's back at home. I think he's going to have another breakout year, just doing, everything for him. And great fit.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think it's so too. Baker Mayfield, what do you think about him? What's going on? It's one of these older guys. We know what's going on. Oh, you're this, that, and that. You're going to be this. We're going to give you this, that, and that. We're going to give you this, that, and that. I.e., I'm waiting to get drafted, and I don't get drafted, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about 31-year-old not really understanding the whole thing about business?
So there's two phases around the NFL, right? This is the business piece of it. It's we're going to give you some money and prove that you could, be a star, be an all-pro, lead our team. And then here's my proven record. Now pay me for what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the place where I have led this team to two playoff runs, right? Before that, you didn't have any playoff runs. So now, and I've established my leadership, the things that he does in the locker room. And he's, established himself as a high profile or a high pro, all pro, I should say.
Yeah.
He needs to get paid. He needs to get, and what's crazy is they already know the range, right? It's like, why are you shorting him? It's $60 million a year.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where
I think they offered him 40, but I think here's the thing about the business side. Baker shouldn't have said anything. He should have just kept it PG. No, in other words, he should have said how much he loved Tampa. He should have left that part out. Because once you say something like that, those guys are like, oh, well, he's not going anywhere. They're going to take advantage, like the Sharks.
Yeah, but you know what? It's really not what he says. Like he didn't say. I don't think that was a bad comment, because really it's between that GM and his agent, right? Like those are the ones that are here.
Yeah.
And he can always reference, that Baker wants to stay here, right? But he can leverage Baker's. That negotiation, those talks is really between that GM and that agent. And I think we saw even with Michael Parsons a year ago. If you remember, him and Jerry, they had an agreement, which it didn't hold any water.
Didn't matter.
It's the conversation you have with that agent who represents you. That's where those conversations really hold.
You're right about that. The feelings, take the feelings out and let the agents represent, because that's their job. They represent you. So I agree with you on that. Olave getting his money, I think that's a great move. Even though he's gonna
4-year extension.
Even though too many head injuries for me, but I'm glad he's making the money, because he's done a lot for the NFL. For their merch, jerseys. I don't know if he's going to do any more other than that. Just like Tua. I don't know what has Tua done. What kind of thing does Tua do for the NFL? Why is he getting all that money? Why did Tua get the money? Okay.
Well, I mean, number one, he's a quarterback, right? So you got to look at the position, right? The position, it's a marquee position. Quarterbacks, always have and always will lead the market. Most of the time lead merchandising and sales and things of that nature. But the fact is, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team. You don't have a season.
Nothing.
And that's just where it is. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah. You're right about that. So Kalen, what do we got? Anything else? looking at here.
No, I think we've covered most of anything you want to harp on. We can ask real quick, just the state of college football. That's changed a lot, of course, since you've played. It's changed even more since I played. And that was only, 4 or 5 years ago. How do you think about the state of college football, playoffs, NIL? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. It's ever so changing, right? And it's that's an interesting question because I have two different lenses, right? I have a lens as a fan, and now I have a lens as a father, whose son is now, next year going to be entering college football at a very high level. And so part of me is like, as a fan, I want, some stability, right? Like you think, like I'm negative on the portal, but I'm positive on the NIL.
Right.
I'm around the Power Four and, who's the best, conferences and things of that nature. And, again, I mentioned earlier, go Irish, and they're not even in a conference.
You gotta get in the conference. You gotta get the extra game, Dave. You gotta get the extra game. You can't.
Exactly. Right. So it's to me, it's an influx, right? It's an influx. It's in a state of change, which I think a lot of traditional schools, powerhouses, and conferences, they're not comfortable with, right? Now the power has evened up, whereas all the schools had to get all the money, all the revenue. It was okay for a coach to lead and transfer, but it's now not okay for players and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
even in the 80s, even the 80s and 90s, their coach was really even worse. We were stuck at teams.
You were stuck like chalk. Yeah. And I can tell you this, my career, I would have instantly left to the portal. But it just wasn't traditional. Right. You just don't leave, because I was playing, but I knew I was at a level that I could play in anybody in the country.
Right.
If I had that option, I would have done it. So yeah, we're in a state of change. I do hope they do establish some more guardrails.
Right.
Because the schools, if you think about it, the power schools, your Texas, Alabamas, the Michigans, Ohio State, Miami, hey, they're still winning the talent with money.
Right. And then can we add Texas Tech in there? So how we're going to add these guys?
Texas, yeah. How's first of all, they were paying these players back then. Now it's just leaving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to throw it out there, just to make it sure.
Just throw it out
I understand everyone's still getting the money. Money is important. However, on the other side, I always talk about Texas Tech. I talk about Kalen about the quarterback and all that stuff coming from Cincinnati and all together. You got to have sooner or later, someone's got to be like, all right, the adult in the room, like, you can't gamble, period. We all know that, and you know that from going there, just getting before you got drafted. Those were the no-nos, and you can't cross over those lines, i.e. Pete Rose, right? We vilified Pete Rose until he passed away, and then he got into the Hall of Fame. He should have been in a long time ago. The same thing probably with Barry Bonds as well. So we don't like gambling, and it's not good for the Shield. So as a spectator, as a fan, they've got to, when that stuff happens, there's got to be quick about it. And that's where the common sense, I think, comes in for me. It's like, all right, guys, this is common sense. Let's figure this out. If there's a problem, just, let's get him treatment, power that works. So, kind of move forward. So
well, that's where the money, right? So you talk about the state of college football. It's these players, right? They're now getting paid. Let's just say $500,000 or more to play. So if you think about that, times that by 4, you could literally leave college.
Yeah.
$2+ million in your bank account. I look at the example of Carson Beck last year with the Kings. He got paid more last year as a senior.
28-year-old. Excuse me. How old was he? 28 or 20?
He wasn't 28. He was I think he was around 25, 26. I think he might have been there.
Yeah. But what he got paid at Georgia, and then his final year in Miami, he left college making over $8 million.
Yeah.
Which is almost more than his rookie contract. That's the state. That's what we have to deal with. So with that comes, Mark, is those opportunities of, gambling and drugs and all the other stuff. That's why I think, we have to educate these kids. They're getting paid. Like it's different. Like these kids they're making some serious money.
Right.
During these years. And that to me is really what's, I think we need to pay attention to, that I have bigger concerns,
Yeah.
and again, I mentioned the
Right.
portal, hey, I'm not getting the playing time that I think I should get. So now I'm just going to leave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now I have another team, another school going to pay me more, or
You
I'm
don't get picked up.
cool.
Or you don't
Yeah,
get
I'm
picked up.
cool with it. And next thing you know, another school is just recruiting you.
Right.
You think about the receiver from Auburn that went to Texas, Cam.
Yeah.
Cam Coleman. He got paid, like he literally got recruited and now making millions in Texas. Like, I think that's wrong. I think that has to be changed.
And Jeremiah, he said everyone's trying to come after him as well. So
he could make $10 million.
Well.
Yeah. That's what I don't like. That's the state that we need to change, because it's only going to allow the bigger pockets to get deeper in talent, and you're going to see some fall offs.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have a whole conference fall off, i.e., the Big 12 made
12.
less. Ohio State's 17 million. The Big 12 was their whole pockets, like 20 million, I think.
The entire conference.
And then you got Notre Dame. Was it 20 million you guys got for your 8 deal?
Yeah.
With was it SoFi?
Patch. Yeah, SoFi. I hope they don't got. Look, it's at .com, so I hope they don't fall through, because that's .com. At least ours is a real bank. It's back.
Right.
FDIC. Right?
Oh man. All right. I think that wraps it up, right? We got anything else you want to hit on?
I think that's it. I appreciate you coming on, Dave. It's been a minute. Real quick, I've been trying to get him on. I'll try to actually help coaches one time, Kalen. I was trying to get Dave up there, but he wasn't all into coaching during that time. Now he done got the bug as a coach, assistant coach, helping out, doing everything. I didn't even know how they got the baseball tie. He could have been doing baseball with us. That was the case. I didn't realize that when I was coaching baseball. But yeah, appreciate you coming online with us, Dave, for the time.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me, man. It's an honor, man. Like I said, I follow you guys, and I like your picks. Caleb, you got to continue to beat up on your dad on your pick. I don't know where he's thinking, but it's definitely, I appreciate what you guys are bringing, and what you guys are sharing, right? It's informative, it's fun, it's light. And you definitely have a format and a platform to just, again, talk about things we love, right? And really just getting different insights. I love the combination, the father-son piece, because again, it's, what I appreciate is the fact that, Mark and I could throw out some names, and they were born.
You don't know nothing about it.
So I know you need to do your homework.
I got you some homework.
That's right.
But when you think about today's world of sports and how it influences us, and really the mindset of our athletes today that we love and adore, you give us that perspective, right? You give us that mindset. So I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate it.
Oh man, appreciate it too, man.
Appreciate
it. One more thing, I see the jersey in the back. Can I just see the jersey? Everybody can see it with the little, there we go, boom. That's it.
Yeah. Little song. Okay. A little background, a little background.
We saw the ring too. I saw a ring.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I haven't seen the ring. Caleb hasn't seen the ring. That's the first time Caleb's seen the ring. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you coming on. You got any wise words just for young athletes out there that are watching the show, probably just playing football as well? We got fall camp right now for a lot of high school kids and college as well. So,
My advice is, grind in silence so you can shine in the light, right?
Okay. I like that.
Just continue to believe in yourself. And those are kind of cliche, right? It's definitely cliche. But I can tell you this: those that are consistent with it will live with it. Okay. And these are the advice I tell my two sons, right? Just be consistent. Just be consistent with what you do, and then things will happen for you. Like, I say own your journey, because I think the problem is people look at other people's journey, and somebody else is getting accolades at these early ages. And they're like, what about me? What about me?
Yeah.
it'll be your time. It'll be your time. And, but as long as you stay consistent with it, things will happen.
I like that. Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah. Kudos. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
right,
that.
man.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for signing in, guys. Another episode of Carson versus Carson. Mr. Gamble, Pops.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
Who you
All
got?
right.
Who you got?
All right.
Who you got? Minnesota on the way, though. Minnesota Super Bowl champ.